What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at some animated storytime videos that just honestly don't make sense. Now, animated storytime videos have become like a pretty recent big trend here on YouTube over the last few months where they've kind of just garnered like ridiculous view counts, and I'm going to kind of explain to you how they do this really quickly. Now, what they'll do is, number one, they upload every single day, so they have like a really high upload frequency, but also on top of that, they have these like really outlandish stories that don't make sense, or they're just like ridiculous topics, you know, I went on vacation with aliens for a week, or I won $700 million at the casino at age 13. Stories that just don't line up very much. They don't make sense when you kind of try and box them into reality a little bit, and if you think about them even critically for about 30 seconds, they fall apart like a cardboard box that's been sitting in a monsoon for about 7 years. Now, I did a video about one of these very specific videos already about the kid who was breastfeeding when he was way too old to be doing so, apparently, which obviously doesn't make sense anyway, but the two that we're going to be taking a look at today are ones that I guess could like happen if they were in some sort of fucking pocket dimension where the laws of reality did not exist and it was just some sort of, I don't know, like there was no laws of reality whatsoever. I mean, it would be possible. If I could give you guys some odds on these being real, I would say you have better odds getting struck by lightning 3 times, winning the lottery, getting on an airplane, skydiving without a parachute, surviving, then getting back on said airplane, doing it all over again, but winning the lottery in midair. That's what your odds are. You have better odds winning all of that. Like, that whole combination of things, I would say, are more likely than these stories ever really being real. So we're going to be taking a look, like I said, at 2 of these very specific topics. I might do more of these videos in the future where we kind of react to more of them as time goes along because they're just absolutely ridiculous, but the first one we're going to be taking a look at here is how I made $50 million at age 15, because that's a very likely story. That happens all the time, right? You know, all of us at age 15 make $50 million. It happens. Just a slight W, all in a day's work.
Hey, I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm going to tell you how I became one of the richest people on Earth, even though I was only a stupid teenager.
Apparently, Alex is a really stupid teenager because $50 million of net worth does not make you one of the richest people in the world. Sorry to break this to you. Yeah, $50 million, you're rich. You know, you're pretty much set for life, but you're not Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. You don't have that kind of money where you're in the hundreds of billions with a B on your net worth, okay? You go ahead and try and hold your money up to someone like that and they would literally just spit in your face, okay? You are below them. You're pond scum to them, okay? You are nothing. Jeffy boy will make you look goofy if you ever try to flex 50 million to him, so.
It all started with me being obsessed about history and archaeology. By the time I was 12, I had probably read more than 100 books on those topics. So you can imagine how excited I was when my dad gave me a metal detector for Christmas.
Very boring lore, honestly. Just, if this is a real story and you really made $50 million at age 15 off this, honestly, just donate it all to charity, because the come up was not fun and it was not real. So just get rid of it, man.
I immediately grabbed a shovel and ran into our forest here in Poland.
I'm not going to spare you a bunch of the insignificant bullshit details that aren't worth anything, really, I guess. I'm going to get right into the meat and potatoes. How he made 50 million, okay?
It was 2 days after my 15th birthday when my metal detector started beeping like crazy. And it wasn't just beeping at one point, but it was beeping over an area of at least 2 square meters. I wasn't sure what was laying under me, but I knew it was something very big.
Very convenient timing, just 2 days after his 15th birthday. Very convenient timing. Just one of these very small details that just make the story very unbelievable, as if, you know, a kid finding $50 million just given to him. If that was ever realistic, I guess.
So I took my shovel and started digging. I remember hitting against something. At first, I was scared. It could have been a mine, but I could feel that it wasn't metallic. After a few more seconds of digging, I realized that it was a big pot. It was very big and heavy and kinda ugly.
So he just goes out in the forest and starts digging after his metal detector picks up something, and he finds a pot in the middle of the ground because apparently the fucking Lucky Charms leprechaun lives in the local area and is just dumping off his goodies in the middle of nowhere. The magically delicious goodies are just out here in the middle of nowhere. He's just apparently the luckiest 15-year-old of all time, and the first thing he did after making $50 million off of sheer luck out in the middle of the forest was decide that he wanted to email his story into Share My Story, the YouTube channel with 2 million subscribers, so they could get 11 million views off of the story.
But why was my metal detector been beeping if there wasn't any metal? It took me a few seconds to realize that something was inside the pot.
Very shitty plot development here, obviously. Like, anyone with a brain, any modicum of brain cells or intelligence inside of them would realize that they would have to open the pot if the pot wasn't metal and the metal detector picked something up. I'm pretty sure a single-celled organism would be able to go ahead and compute that one. Obviously, this was written out to kind of detail to you guys, oh, hey, something's in the pot. Something's in the pot here. He's gonna find something. Can you guess what it is? I'm gonna go ahead and leave 3 options on the screen. They are vastly different from one another, and I want you to go ahead and leave a comment right now on what you think is going to be inside of this pot. Pause this video and leave your comment now. We will be advancing as I speak now.
So, I started pulling the dirt out of the opening of the pot. It didn't take long until I saw something golden. And trust me, I had waited years to find something golden. It were coins. Lots of coins. Too many coins for me to carry. I looked around to see if someone had followed me or seen my treasure, but no one was there. So I took 1 coin with me and put the rest back into the hole and filled it with dirt again.
He is trying to go ahead and tell the story that at age 15, he found $50 million worth of gold coins in a pot in the middle of a forest in fucking Poland. And I am supposed to go, oh yeah, that checks out. Yeah, that adds up. If it was in Ireland, maybe. Maybe I'd be like, okay, yeah, Leprechaun left that one behind. Okay, yeah, I can figure that. If he raided King Tut's tomb in Egypt, okay, maybe he got $50 million. If he won the lottery with his dad, yeah, okay, he made $50 million. But he found a pot of gold in a forest of all places in Poland. This is literally a story that me and my friends would make up to troll each other in 2nd grade. And people are uploading this for tens of millions of views on YouTube. I'm doing the wrong thing. I have the wrong hustle going on, folks. Okay, so we pretty much can discern that this one is complete bullshit. That didn't take too much thought process, did it? I mean, come on now. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at another one that is just ridiculous. I gave out my bestie's secret to her parents. Huge mistake.
Hello, people. My name is Ellie. And I'm 15 years old.
What the fuck was that? What was that animation? What, she just rips her shirt and flexes her name? What?
I think you can be proud of me, because recently, I saved my friend's life. I mean, literally. She wouldn't have survived without my help. But we'll start at the beginning.
By the way, this claim, I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know, is mostly over-exaggerated to the end of the earth and back. Her friend was being locked in a basement, apparently by her parents, to be punished for acting up. She did not have to jump in front of a bullet to save her friend's life. She's not Piccolo saving Gohan's life in Dragon Ball Z or anything like that. Jumping in front of some big blast or anything. That's not what's going on here, so. Okay, so long story short, they move into this neighborhood. She becomes friends with this girl named Nikki. She has a birthday party for this friend named Nikki with a bunch of their friends from school. Nikki has to leave early and doesn't want to be there, and it puts a strain on their friendship. They make up. Just completely stupid shit that doesn't matter whatsoever. It just literally, I think, was there to bore people to death. But long story short, also, I know I just said that twice, and it's kind of like that South Park episode where they're going up in the mountains to go ahead and do some zip lining and whatnot. I apologize for that, but they're about to take a school trip to New York, and Nikki does not have the money, so she is about to get it lended to her by Ellie. Let's go ahead and take a look at this.
A few weeks later, Nikki came to me with a very unusual request. She asked me to lend her money. The fact is, we had a trip to New York planned at school, and her parents were having temporary difficulties at work, and they could not afford to pay for this trip for her. But Nikki really wanted to go and make amends to me and my classmates for ruining her party that night. Without hesitation, I agreed to help her. After all, she was my friend.
Okay, so anyone who has ever had like a school field trip that goes to like Washington, D.C. or to New York or to anywhere, basically. You know that these are so expensive that almost nobody can afford to just, I'm gonna lend you this money. It can cost like upwards of a couple $1,000s per person to go on these kinds of trips. Especially if you're going to go to somewhere like New York where, the hotels are expensive, and if you're going to do a bunch of stuff like go to museums and go to all these different places and like actually enjoy the place you're going to, it costs money to do things like that. So yeah, I totally believe that a 15-year-old named Ellie was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and lend you thousands of dollars to go to New York. Sounds like a great plan. So they go to New York. I'm once again skipping through that part. It literally does not matter. This part does not matter. The only part that matters is the last night when they're getting ready to leave New York.
Did she want to escape? No, that was too dangerous. I wanted to go get the teacher to stop her, but Nikki begged me not to do this. She really needed to leave. And when she told me why, I understood everything. Nikki couldn't stand living with her parents anymore. But she wasn't just sitting in her room. She was in the basement. As Nikki said, she'd been punished that way since she was a child. Nikki was never allowed to go out for too long because if she was late, she would be punished. That's why she always refused to hang out with friends. Shyness had nothing to do with it. Her parents had a perfect reputation, and all the neighbors spoke very warmly of them. So the police thought it was just a little girl's whim, and this trip was the perfect time to escape. She had all the necessary things with her, and her grandmother didn't live too far away from New York.
So Nikki's home life wasn't too great. Her parents are complete fucking psychopaths, as the animation tries to describe, and she doesn't want to go home, so she wants to run away in the city of New York, which she has almost no plan, except for I'm gonna try and find my grandma, which doesn't live in New York City. She lives somewhere close to New York City, so she could live where in Jersey City? She could live even as far away as Boston, I guess, as this story is kind of describing everything. She lives pretty close to New York City. I guess that's the plan. She's just gonna try and find her way. No plan whatsoever at this age to kind of figure anything out. That's what's going on here. Just essentially going to become homeless in New York City or something and I don't know, live with the Ninja Turtles in the sewers. But so Ellie lets her go. Doesn't even think about this. Doesn't even, I guess, really try to talk her out of it. She just sympathizes with her home life and whatnot. Doesn't say, hey, New York City is probably a really hard place to live a homeless life. You have no plan whatsoever. You have pretty much no idea what the fuck you're really putting yourself through here. And in reality, the chances of you actually pulling this kind of grand plan off are so low that you would just be better off going home and trying to get out of home from there. But whatever, I guess we'll advance. So the rest of the classmates go home after she's discovered missing. The police are notified in New York. And then when the girl gets home, Ellie, who is the main cast here, this is how confusing this shit gets, by the way. The parents of the missing girl freak out on her, and she completely tells them everything that's going on and where she's going. They drive all the way there to her grandma's, I'm assuming, and get her, which means that her plan either succeeded or they just literally scoured the streets of New York City, one of the biggest cities on planet Earth, until they found her and then came back home with her. And she was locked in the basement again. And here's how it all ends, folks.
So as soon as it got dark outside, I picked up my phone and quietly crept up to her house. I walked around it, and I saw the only window that was in the basement. There were lights and shadows moving. Then I turned on my camera and quietly crawled toward the window. What I saw at that moment was the worst thing in my life. I caught the exact moment that her crazy parents were yelling at her, then left her in the basement and walked away slamming the door.
Like magic, she just shows up at the very moment, at the very perspective to catch this all on video. Within the exact second that everything happened, she waited until it was nighttime, she claims, and apparently the parents, when they got home, did not punish her. They waited hours upon hours to punish her until this girl apparently could get it all on video from the window. And to wrap it all up, the girl calls the police, shows the police the video, the parents are arrested, and everything is happily ever after. Now, of course, this kind of stuff does happen, but at the same time, the odds that all of this really happened, let's be honest, not exactly high. Absolutely ridiculous story here at this point. I'm just going to start putting up animated stories on my channel where it's completely exaggerated BS about the time that I smoked so much that I met aliens and then we went on a month-long journey to other universes, which honestly, that would be more realistic than a lot of these stories if we're being real with ourselves here. So Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like though. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below. Lots of great things going on down there as well. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, polluted in his brain by these animated storytime videos, and signing out.